What is up, everybody, and welcome to a Sunday Night Losers Lounge. That was the only one sad trombone.
I didn't have the energy for it.
You don't have energy for it. You're bumming me out this year, Eric.
What do you want from me, man? What do you want from me?
Fake? I don't know. Fake some. I'm just kidding. You can't, man. It's tough. So welcome in, guys. We got a lot to get to tonight. This game, as much as it was a disappointing one, it was an eventful one. I feel like there's some meaty topics to dive into from this game. And it was so close to being an exciting Sunday.
I was ready for it. I think that's my problem is that
You were ready.
I was reading I was looking at the tea leaves. I was reading the writing on the wall. I was misinterpreted both of those.
Yeah.
So I think next time I'll just watch the basketball.
That's probably good. That's probably a good bet. So I'm Adam Mares. I'm joined over here on the far right by Superstar Dev.
Hello, people.
That was it?
That's it. That's all I got for you. That's all I got.
My favorite thing that Dev does, and he actually does this every week. I don't know if you guys have noticed. His mic is up here, so when he talks, he goes like this. Rather than
I'm searching for the mic.
Yeah, you're like
I feel like it's a joke that you guys put me in certain spots every single week that I have to go and chase the spot.
It is a hazing thing.
That's what's happening.
It's pure hazing.
And then I've got, of course, the sad one, D-Line Co.
Guys, should we hug? Oh wait, we can't. When we get vaccinated, you want to hug?
Yeah. Okay. And then over here, look who's back, guys.
Yeah, I got the energy tonight. I'm just happy to be here, fellas.
Let's go, BV.
I have to say, by the way, that all expenses paid trip you sent me in Hawaii,
Yeah,
that was pretty
great?
nice. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Good job.
Thanks,
you did a really good
No
job.
one deserves it more than you.
It too. Yeah.
So what day did you plan this outfit, if we're being honest? Like
This outfit,
Yeah.
the second I got each respective item.
Yeah.
I was pretty hyped to bust this one out.
That's hilarious.
Fashion is my passion.
And then, of course, I'm Adam Mares. So we're going to start this as we always do, guys. There's a million topics to get to tonight. A million topics. The Nuggets fall 109-105, a barn burner. I'm going to start with you since you're back. What's your number one takeaway?
Before I get into big picture stuff, how about just Nuggets Jazz? Every single time.
Yeah.
This is the prescription deodorant matchup, I've dubbed it. I'm sweating it out, whether that's the playoffs or a month into the season.
Do you know that's where he was going?
No, I had no idea.
I'm just a sweaty person, so that's where my mind
bring
goes.
Up sweat more
often.
than anyone else on
It's
this
a
show.
big part of my life.
Can we bring up again just one time that Adam Mares has stated publicly, anytime he's been able to, that he switches deodorant every time. He doesn't have one deodorant.
You don't. There's no such thing as deodorant loyalty. You have to always get a new one. You got to keep it fresh.
Do you have one deodorant you've worn for like years and years and years?
Since like 8th grade.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Dev. Maybe that's the problem for me, though.
Adam's a serial killer. There's just really no other way to look at this.
Why haven't you tried a new one at this point?
That's a great point, actually.
It's a good point, Cal.
Maybe you just haven't
tried. All right, let me get this straight back on the tracks, though.
So this is your number one takeaway. It's just Jazz Nuggets.
Every time it's awesome. I mean, I know it's a bummer right now because they lost, but these two teams, when they go at it, like the NBA is kind of void of matchup of like rivalries right now, and this is a real one, I think.
Yeah.
Whether the national audience knows or cares, it's fun every time.
I will say, this game with a crowd, a Pepsi Center or a Ball Arena crowd, I think it carries that extra emotional weight. In watching this one tonight, there was a little bit of it felt like any other game. You know that Utah wanted this one a little bit extra, but you couldn't tell from watching it. It just looked like two good teams going at it. Dev, that's not my takeaway though. What's your big takeaway?
My takeaway from the game was Nikola Jokic has an amazing game. Jamal Murray has an amazing game.
But
then and then who else?
Yeah.
There was nobody else that helped them tonight. Like they both scored 30 points, and no one else. The third highest scorer was PJ Dozier. There's nothing else that anybody else gave, and it's very difficult to be in a rivalry type of situation that's playoff atmosphere, and you only have two guys that show up. It's really difficult.
That, to me, is the storyline. And it's a storyline that's been here all season. I mean, one way you can look at it is that you need like 8 quarters of good play. Jokic is going to give you 4. Pretty much every single game, Jokic has given you 4. Tonight, Jamal Murray gave you 2.
Yeah.
And PJ Dozier maybe gave you, you get like little bits from other guys, but you need 8 quarters of like really good play from this team, and it just seems like they can never this season at least. They have depth. They have a lot of pieces, but that inconsistency to me is just absolutely killer. And I guess that unless Eric, is this your takeaway as well?
My takeaway is actually that the Nuggets continue to struggle mightily mightily in the third quarter.
Yeah,
They lost
that's a great
they
line.
lost this game in the third quarter again. I don't really know what the deal. Like I don't know if they have like a soft serve ice cream machine in their
That's what it is.
locker room that
Yeah.
they're loading up on at halftime.
Most people don't know that, but that's what it is.
And there is-
Malone needs to like get more fiery or give like more like Disney style speeches at halftime. I don't know what's going on.
To your point, Eric, I mean, the Jazz come out shooting like 70% from three to start that game, right? The first 6-7 minutes. Nuggets weather that storm, come back, bench is all right, starters come back in, and it looks like you got Utah right where you want them, on the ropes. And, I mean, the Nuggets have as much fight, as much punch back in them as any team in the league, but they just cannot put a team away when they've got a chance.
And so here's what we're going to get to is the thing that's absolutely killer about this game is the same thing that's been killer about this game for a while, which is Jamal Murray tonight, 42 minutes. He sat for 6 minutes tonight. Nikola Jokic, 40 minutes. Not only do you get the loss, you run those guys into the ground for now. I mean, what are they in now? 13 games into the season. I think 8 of those have looked like this, where those two guys are just going so, deep into the game, taking such short rest. And, it's tough. We thought we had gotten over a little bit of a hump with that bench unit. And I don't want to put it all on the bench because I think we're going to talk about Murray here in a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's a big storyline too. But, Compazzo tonight was absolutely miserable on minus 12 and 11 minutes, and it felt like a minus 12.
He had like that good little stint. I guess he only had the one stint, so I don't know if it could have been good and bad. Yeah, he had one good pass. He made a 3. I was feeling pretty good about Compazzo until I looked at the box score, and then I did not feel good.
But just to piggyback what you're talking about, Adam, as far as they're playing all these big minutes, they play 40 minutes. They lost the game once they went out of the game.
Right.
That is the story of the game.
No
like
question.
It's like, Malone, why are you playing them so many minutes? And then his question, his answer back
option.
is, did you guys see what happened once they went out of the game?
Right.
As soon as they went out of the game, they lost. When Jokic was on the bench, the Nuggets lost the game right there.
Why is this? Like, why is this happening? Because the Nuggets, I mean, I don't think these
He's
pieces
better
are
than
bad.
the
Like,
other
Jermichael
players.
Green's good. Monte Morris is good. PJ
Right.
Dozier tonight had some really good moments. There are, Compazzo's up and down. Hartenstein's a little up and down. But I think these aren't bad players. Why does it keep happening?
I don't know. And look, the last 3 games, they didn't look that bad to me. A couple of times they looked good. So just say keep happening. I mean, it's easy to right now. I don't know, though, man. I really thought this unit would be better. Was it the 4-guard lineup in that 3rd to 4th crossover? I can't remember, but I think Isaiah Hartenstein only got like 2.5 minutes this game.
He's a quick hook every game.
I feel like that's a big part of it, man, is the 4-guard thing isn't working. And, well, why are they going to 4 guards? Because it doesn't seem like Malone trusts Hartenstein.
And Hartenstein tonight did miss a couple. Yeah, we're going to say it different every time. That's the key. He didn't have a great night tonight. He missed that one, like tap in. But again, when we're talking about a player with 3 minutes, it's just hard. Like, it's hard to... I understand both Malone's perspective on this and like Hartenstein's.
Yeah.
You give him out for 3 minutes, the Nuggets get outscored by 8 points. That's the game. The Nuggets lose by 4. Those 3 minutes, really, you cut those out and the rest of the game is history. But at the same time, a player, you have to eventually establish yourself to where, like, we either going to figure out we trust these guys or we don't. And we're now 13 games into the season. It feels like the Nuggets just are not going to get over this hump of being able to trust those guys.
And Dev, like, if you're Hartenstein, aren't you feeling like, well, yeah, no kidding, I'm not in rhythm, bro, or I can't figure this out. It's 3 minutes at a time.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure as a player that's tough.
I mean, I would kind of feel like that, but then I would look at everything. Like, he gave
then I
you
would
nothing
be
in 3 minutes.
self-aware.
So they scored every single time down
Right.
once he's on the floor. It's like, I mean, I'm not in the rhythm, but they are. The team that he's playing is always in the rhythm. He either has to foul, and then he doesn't score anything. He doesn't give you great minutes, and he hasn't been good for a couple of games now. So it's like, you have to understand, like, the writing's on the wall. It's you, bro.
Yeah.
So
Like every time we have a bad show, I'm like, Brendan was funny. Adam did a good job.
Whose fault was that?
Deb was insightful.
It's like James Harden, like, something's wrong with the culture here in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Just can't put my finger on it.
So we could talk about the bench a lot, and I do think, I mean, it's a major storyline, but we've kind of covered those tracks a lot over this first month of the season. Where I do want to go, though, is to Jamal Murray, because he does finish the night with 30 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and at +6. You look at that and you go, okay, that was great. And it was. Like, it was... In aggregate, he was good because he was great in the first half and not great in the second half, and it averages to good, I guess.
That's the hot pocket.
Math corner
It is
here
the-
on DNVR Nuggets.
Ice cold in the middle, razor hot on the
And I want to be fair to
Piping hot
Jamal
on the
Murray
outside.
because he's so good, but he is now at the level where so much more is expected of him than ever before. Not just because of the contract, but because of what we've seen him do inside the bubble when the pressure's on. And tonight, the way he played in that first half was just so absolutely incredible, and I don't really remember anything from the second half, and that's just kind of common to me. It feels like we hoped we were past that with him.
We seem to be having the same conversation over and over and over about Jamal.
Tonight feels like one where you go, the evidence is there. You just go, I think he was hurt. He ran out of gas.
Yeah.
He willed it. He willed himself to that level in the first half, and then 42 minutes, bum elbow, maybe bum. I don't know. Whatever. It's not my place to speculate. He just looks slow and laboring, and so
he said as much. You're not speculating.
Yeah, sure. So he hit the wall, and look,
and he did play 42 minutes. That's a lot of minutes.
So I think I get it.
He did have a good game. The problem is that just we don't know who else is good on the Nuggets night to night, and so unfortunately he has to have a great game.
He's got to play. When MPJ comes back, I think there's a real conversation to be had about just giving Jamal 3-4 games off. I really do.
Right.
And I get why they're not doing it now, because what we just talked about, Hartenstein -8 in 3 minutes. You can't sit Jokic and Murray or you lose these games. But maybe when MPJ comes back, it's a different equation.
But it makes it really difficult when you're losing these games.
Yeah.
True.
If you win a few games and then you have some space, you're like, okay, I'm going to sit Jamal and he could try to get healthy. But when you're starting to lose these games and you're in this playoff race, and you don't want to be in a situation that you're having to play like the Lakers early.
Right.
So you really have to make the playoffs, especially with teams like the Warriors and the Suns who were not there last year.
Right.
Now it makes it hard for Jamal Murray to be able to sit because you can't afford to lose these games. Even though Jamal Murray is having rough second halves and doing he's not playing to the best of his abilities. He still had 30 points tonight.
Right.
He's still your best option, even though he's not 100%. So
he really scored a lot.
You need to pick up wins, and that's the only way that if Michael Porter Jr. comes or any type of help comes, it has to be while you're winning.
While we're on the topic, one of 6 from the field, Will Barton tonight. 2 of 6 from the field, Paul Millsap. 2 of 11 from the field.
We're going to get there. That's going to be the entirety of segment 2 because obviously that's another sort of big thing here. But I want to ask the comments too, and Eric, maybe you can monitor them. I'm curious what people thought of Murray tonight.
I'm making a graphic, bro.
You want
Brandon,
to
you got to monitor those comments.
Monitor these comments for me here, Vogt. But I'm just curious what people thought of Murray tonight because he was he wasn't just good in the first half. He was great. You could make the argument. I think he might have been the best player on the court in the first half.
He was absolutely great.
And so part of this is it's weird to kind of fault a guy. But I do want to ask this one of you, Dev. Jokic gets 23 shots tonight. Murray gets 27 shots tonight. The rest of the starters, they weren't making their shots, but you get six shots for Millsap, 6 for Barton, 11 for Gary Harris. Denver, and really if you even go to the bench, because they did stagger some of these, nobody else got double-figure shots. Those two guys take over 20, which even for Jokic, that's a lot. Is that unhealthy offense? Is it something the Jazz were doing, or is there maybe something else going on with the Nuggets this year?
Well, first off, I think that Jamal Murray just tries to play up against the Utah Jazz. I think that he takes that matchup very personally against Donovan Mitchell. For starters, also, I think that it's in Malone's conversations with Jamal, we need you to get going. That's the only way that we're going to be able to make a run. That's the only way that we're going to be at our best. And I think that the other players on the team understand that.
Yeah.
That the only way we're going to make the playoffs, or the only way we're going to do anything, is if you're at your best and you're our guy. Because we've talked about on various shows, if Murray is your top guy, we already know what you're going to get from Jokic. You're going to get one of the best players in the entire world. Your X factor is Jamal Murray. When he's your top guy, that's the only way that you could get it going. And I think that if you look at the last 3 games for the Nuggets, they're going through Jamal Murray, and I think that that's purposeful.
Yeah. And that's the thing, compare, not that, and this isn't necessarily a fair comparison for Jamal Murray to compare him to Jokic, but it is the difference between a Jokic caliber player and a Murray caliber player is that Jokic's bad quarters are still, he does something. He's still involved. Okay, he's not making shots. He's getting beat defensively. And Murray's are well, what are you getting out of it?
And that was the thing about even this first half is it did feel like non-bubble Murray, even the good stuff. It's well, how sustainable was that Kobe Bryant shot, over and over and over again? We know he loves those shots, but to me, a large part of what comprised the leap in the bubble was he's also defending. Now he's just getting by guys on the dribble. Now he's setting guys up for 3, right? It wasn't just he could hit these fadeaways. Tonight, it felt a little bit like he had to muster the Murray magic.
Muster the Murray
in
magic.
the bubble, the game looked easy for him. Right now, he looks like he's playing underwater to me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. First half, he did look like he was playing. Like that's the difficult thing. I mean, it's always the
He got some confidence. Like he's
the conversation with Jamal Murray is now and will forever will be consistency. Like we know what he can do.
I
We've
hope
seen
not
him
forever.
do it. Can he do it? He's not doing it tonight. Can he do it tomorrow? Maybe he'll do it.
I really hope that's not the conversation forever
Be a
because
long
I don't know.
forever,
We're like 2 years or 3 years away. I mean, he's young. I still give him a little leeway, but I don't know. Let's talk about Jokic real quick, and then we'll hit a break. But Jokic tonight, 35 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Like we said, he plays 40 minutes, shoots 14 of 23, which is great efficiency again. I hate the conversation. So I saw Luka tonight had 35 points, 15 rebounds, 15 assists or something like that, and it knocked the Mavericks down to below 500. And I was sitting at home thinking, it'd be funny if Jokic gets bumped tonight. They go above 500, Mavs go below, because Jokic has been off of everybody's MVP ballots this year. And they're like, well, the team's not winning. It's like, if anybody that watches the games knows, has like nothing to do with how Jokic is playing right now.
That should be a sport that we monitor, is the moving of the goalpost for what it is.
I know.
Nikola
It's so
Jokic
true.
should
It's
be
so true.
considered a good player in this league.
I mean,
whatever he does, it's like, but like his team's losing.
This on-off stuff is getting like LeBron's last year in Cleveland levels. It's ridiculous. I can't say.
It's really rough. But he's just so good tonight. It's funny to think
numbers,
about
dude.
him and Gobert, because Gobert really is, and even in the playoffs, look, they gave him a hard time. Although I still maintain that has much to do with like the team being given a hard time. But like Jokic tonight, Gobert didn't bother him. You know what? Like, if you thought until I just brought this up, Dev, were you even thinking about the Jokic Gobert matchup, or was it just like,
one guy is out there just destroying the other guy, just dominating the other guy, who's considered one of the best defenders in the entire world.
That's the thing.
Like,
Yeah.
Really stats.
he doesn't look like he's the best defender in the entire world. And a lot of guys are like, hey, I don't want to go against Gobert, especially the big guys. He just
Look at these stats he put up against Gobert. 35 points, 9 assists, 14 rebounds.
by the way, that 9 assists should have been 20.
Yeah.
It really should have been
It should have
20
been
assists
20,
tonight.
And that's not even exaggerating. Like, the Nuggets players are missing layups. They're missing open shots. They're just not shooting the ball. Like, there was a lot of things going on. That honestly should have been 20 assists. Like, no exaggeration.
So stupid.
Is there any part of this? Are we overlooking this a little bit with Yoke? I mean, is there anything that we can nitpick here and be like, you need
No,
to do
he's
better
doing
here?
Look, there were some poor turnovers, and he missed some shots late, but he's hit so many shots late. Like, what am I going to do? It?
I'd still like to see him get a haircut.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't. I like it.
Really?
Yeah.
he's playing the best basketball he's ever played without a haircut. So
Yeah,
maybe he
it's-
shouldn't
Well,
do
so
that.
imagine what happens when he cuts his
He
hair.
also didn't
Imagine then.
I don't
Dev.
think he got a haircut for his wedding, so I don't think he's getting a haircut for the league.
That's a good
just
point.
for you, D.
That's a very good point.
He might.
But I mean, the fouls are still there. There's still like very bad fouls that he's just doing for no reason at times. He puts them together in small spurts. That's why they stand out so much. Because when one comes, 2 more are coming right after it, and now you're in foul trouble.
Yeah.
Man, he was good defensively too tonight in the
I know.
clutch. I thought he really was.
Yeah,
I'm like searching my brain for a single complaint I have about Nikola Jokic. I think I wish that he would call me more. I think that's my main complaint.
I do hate, and look, part of why he's playing so well is I think he knows the team needs it from him, and so it's on one hand you say, like, are the Nuggets wasted? And this is early, nothing's wasted. The Nuggets could rally off 4 wins in a row and be right where we expected them to be, but I do hate seeing him put up the numbers that he is, play at the level he is, play with the confidence and swagger and control that he is, and the Nuggets be below 500. That just
disgusting.
kills me.
This speaks
It's
it kills
disgusting.
me.
But this
Sickening.
speaks to Yoke's philosophy more than anything. Like, he doesn't want this. He wants
Right,
to play
right.
the game the right way. He wants to be at 12, 12, and 12, and for everyone to be a +8. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this almost speaks to his philosophy on basketball.
Well, let's hit a break. On the other side of this break, though, guys, the elephant in the room, and it's not even, I mean, we've kind of mentioned it a little bit, but the other 3 guys starting alongside Murray and Jokic, consistently unreliable offensively right now.
Consistently inconsistent.
Consistently, not even inconsistent. They're pretty consistently not great right now, you in Barton and Harris.
You got to credit.
So
If somebody shows you who they are, you got to believe them.
Yeah, it's so true. So we're going to talk
Angelo.
about that here on the other side. But first,
All right. Yeah.
you ready? Oh, wow.
Man, and I had them
I
up
feel
this
like
time,
Jokic
too.
right.
Right ahead of
I know, and I feel like Jokic right now dropping the ball off for Monte Morris, who smokes the lamp.
He's gonna smoke it.
Oh, Monte doesn't deserve that, but he did.
He doesn't.
All right, guys, Breckenridge Brewery.
You're like, I deserve that.
I deserve that. Leave Monte alone. Let's talk about Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. Breck has some dope giveaways for you. They've teamed up with your Colorado Avalanche to deliver beer via a Zamboni before the Avs games the last week of January. You did hear that correctly. Here's what you got to do to enter. If you live in Denver, head to breckbrew.com/Zamboni delivery sweepstakes or breckbrew.com, then click the Zamboni link and you sign up. That's it. That easy. Must be 21 to enter, live in Denver, and winners will be picked via lottery. The last day to enter is the 28th, so get in while the getting's good. 5 deliveries will happen on the 30th and 5 on the 31st. Prize pack also includes the dope Avalanche LED light that is perfect for your man or woman cave.
Yeah.
It's 2021, baby. Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR.
Does it say, like, are they sprinkling Breck Brew back behind the Zamboni the same way they do with water when they're making ice? Or
I don't know.
okay.
I'm struggling though.
This is actually awesome. Just watching Brendan flounder. Look at him. Look at him. Look at this
Hassel
sweat.
Cattle,
Look at the
Wagyu.
flop sweat.
I haven't done this read yet. Guys,
Oh.
Hassel Cattle Company equals
Wagyu.
hassle-free meat
You haven't done this one
for life?
Wagyu.
That's right. We bought you damn good beer. Now we're delivering to you damn good beef. Hassel Cattle Company is the absolute best source for farm-to-table Wagyu beef in the country. Hassel Cattle Company is a 4th-generation cattle farm out of Texas. They'll ship all over the beautiful U.S. of A. and straight to your door. They call their beef the blue-collar Wagyu. Why? Because it's the best damn Wagyu that every man or woman can afford. And that's the key word, guys. You can afford it. Hassel Cattle Company offers Wagyu smoked sausage, New York Street beef bacon, Wagyu Frank without any fillers, 2 jerky flavors, original, sweet and spicy. Plus their hamburger won Food Network's Northeast Burger Jam. And not only do we love their beef, the country loves their beef. These guys take their registered bulls and breed them with Angus cows, giving you that very high prime product that is grown with 0 antibiotics and hormones. So head to hasslecompany.com and use promo code DNVR10 for, this is a mouthful, DNVR10 for 10% off your order. That's DNVR10 for 10% off. I miss Harrison Wynn so much.
Holy smokes.
He pronounced Wagyu correct every single time he said it
Yeah.
throughout that whole year.
Yo,
He's been practicing.
I don't know if you saw, like, I got myself a ribeye, a Wagyu ribeye.
We saw.
I put that mofo on.
Tell us how you did it.
Put it on the cast iron grill.
Yeah.
Cast iron, you turned up to full temperature. Let it heat up.
Yeah.
Drop that steak on there. All you put on there, sea salt, pepper, coarse ground.
Oh yeah, I love coarse ground. Yeah,
Put it on the inside.
it's my style.
4 minutes.
Do you do this?
4
when you
minutes.
Put it on there. The like little.
Yeah, I
like,
salt bait
bait
it. I salt bait it. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. The way that the fat renders, it essentially makes a hard fried crust on either side. It was
Sounds
decadent.
Great. It really does.
It
Sound
does sound
great.
great.
It was offensively delicious.
Offensively.
Yeah. Holly who doesn't like beef, and she kept asking me for pieces. And at a certain
didn't
point,
give her any, did
at a
you?
certain point, I told her to fuck right off. 'Cause it was my-
Shout out to the sponsors.
That's what I would do.
Not part of the ad read.
Not part of the other.
Question: does the fire alarm go off when you cook a steak like that?
no. And somebody's asking me no butter. No, and I'll tell you why. Because the fat renders out of the meat itself. You don't need that butter. It's the marble. No, but it didn't smell. It was beautiful.
I have heard about this steak no fewer than 20 times from Eric. And you know what?
and
I don't
I
even
heard-
mind. Don't even mind.
I heard it 10 times, and I got mad on the 3rd time. So 7 more times, and then I have to see it live. I don't know.
Hey, fuck you guys.
All right, so another main story here tonight. I mean, and again, we're covering some old tracks here, but Will Barton goes 1 of 6 tonight. Small silver lining here. 6 shots, not very many. When you don't have it going, one of the best things you could do is not shoot it.
Yeah.
Keep shooting, so at least there's that. Paul Millsap, 2 of 6 tonight in 21 minutes. Gary Harris, 2 of 11, including 2 of 7. He did have a big, I would call it a clutch 3, although he had like 4 chances, but he hit one. But, you know, those 3 guys this season, I mean, Millsap just clearly doesn't have it anymore offensively and even defense. Like, there's a reason he's only playing about 22 minutes a game. But Barton and Harris, to me, just other huge X factors. We talked about Murray and his inconsistency. Maybe it's unrealistic. I'm not sure what caliber player Murray is. I still am not. I know in the bubble he was Michael Jordan.
No clue, yeah.
You know, but I don't know if it's realistic to expect 4 great quarters of him every single night. But I do think if you got 2 or 3 out of him, okay, he's still a really good player. He's still like a top 35 player, 40 player. And then you get just 1 quarter from a Barton or a Harris, just a little bit offensively. But I feel like that might be, I don't want to say I've given up hope, because I do think both of those guys have things that they're dealing with. Gary Harris a little bit of mental confidence. With Barton, I think physical, but nonetheless, don't have really any faith in him. Do you, D-Line?
Here's the thing. Like, Gary looked great. Then Gary went out for personal reasons. Can't fault him. We don't know what those personal reasons are. They're personal. Comes back.
For real, though, yeah.
He missed 2 games. And then he just went right back to. He lost all of it. All of the.
He did have. We thought a little rhythm.
No,
yeah.
I thought like he had like turned a corner, and then he turned a corner and made a U-turn, went right back to the wrong way.
Well, we were joking tonight. I mean, and it happens in real time, and I imagine Nuggets fans who are watching this, everybody watching this show right now is doing the same thing. When the ball kicks out to Gary Harris in the corner and he's wide open, there's a part of you that's just like, you don't even. You're not like off the edge of your seat. You're just kind of like, well, we'll see what happens here.
Sink back.
You just kind of sink back, and it's unfortunate. What do you think, Vogt?
Yeah, I mean, I've never, even after those games, I wasn't really holding my breath for a full-on Gary Harris return. For this reason, I mean, it just seems like it's such a confidence rhythm thing, and those things fluctuate when you're not, like, Gary's role isn't particularly defined, right? And I don't know, he's just not going to be that guy every night. So, I mean, that 3-game stretch was wonderful, but I don't, like, if we're doing this stock thing, it's wait and see or sell forever.
Dev, before I go to you, though, here's the thing that gets lost in Gary Harris a lot, and I don't want to lose it. He didn't shoot the ball well tonight. Donovan Mitchell, though, who is the engine for them on Utah side, 18 points, 7 assists, 7 of 20 shooting, and a lot of that was late when Gary Harris got in foul trouble, had to go out. But 18 points, that's not a good game from Donovan Mitchell.
It's a good point, Adam.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a great game, and this was a game that I felt like good about. I'm like, reinforcements are on the way. Gary is back.
Right.
He's back, baby.
And then I watched the game, and I'm like, damn it, Gary should have waited.
He should have waited.
They were in a rhythm. Why did Gary come back? That's what I was thinking the entire time. Like, I mean, yes, Gary is himself defensively, but I mean, at the same time, other guys got off. It wasn't like it was just like, I mean, Donovan Mitchell just went to Jordan Clarkson and let him do his thing, and then Bogdan went and did his thing. So you didn't need Donovan Mitchell when everybody else is getting whatever they want offensively. So I can't just give him all the credit for that. It was not a good game by Will Barton. It was not a good game by Gary Harris, and they shot so badly that it made Jokic and Jamal Murray have to take so many shots. Like, there was nothing else for there to be. Like, Will Barton goes 16% tonight. Gary Harris goes 18% tonight. Those are 2 starters, and it's the Utah Jazz defense. It's not that like they're great defenders. This is not the old Utah Jazz team. Right. This is a game that they should have been up for. They had open looks, plenty of open looks. They're just not making anything.
Yeah. I was positive we were going to win this game coming at
You're positive
after the half. Like, they were up, things were trending in the right direction. I foolishly forgot that the third quarter is something that comes right after half, which I didn't really take into consideration, and then everything fell apart.
I mean, weighing these things is the ultimate question, right? Like, we can't go possession by possession and figure out, does it matter more that Gary played some good defense tonight or couldn't hit a shot?
Right.
It's really, we know where Malone's head is at with this.
Looking
right?
for
He's
a complete
gonna turn to
player if
Gary.
possible. Yeah.
And Millsap, I think the tough thing about him is I don't know that it's realistic to expect more than what you kind of get from him, and that's the thing. He's not finding himself open at the three-point line as much anymore, and Denver keeps kind of feeding him in these like ISO situations, and I don't expect that to continue. But here's a game I want to play, Kellen. You can pull up the graphic. A little thing I like to call the circle of trust. Okay, the circle of trust. Once you're in, you're in. Look at the circle of trust here, because the Nuggets right now, we've talked about this as one of the things, a trust problem. And I want to go through real quick and find out who, for our opinions, right now belongs inside the circle of trust. We're going to start at the top. Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, he's in.
Yeah.
He might be.
Okay, well, I'm trying to go quickly here.
He might be the circle. Yeah.
Don't wait for an answer.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's his trust circle.
It is his trust. It really is his trust circle.
Yeah.
All right. So he's in the circle of trust. Jamal Murray.
Is not in the circle of trust.
He's not.
No. He's
All
not
right, Dev. Give us the lowdown.
There is no lowdown. Have you been seeing him play?
I'm with you, man.
He's just not there right now. Like he's the second best player in the Nuggets, and it's not really close, but he's not there, and that's the issue right now.
I feel he's got 1 foot in, 1 foot out of that circle. He just keeps hopping back and forth, which I think that makes him out.
It does seem like it's a binary thing. You're either in the circle or you're not in the circle. You know what? He's in the circle to me. Like, I do trust him. He's just disappointing me. That's how I would put it. Is like, I do trust him, but it's like a trust fall. He dropped me.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I feel
back
like
of my
you
head
should
hurts.
Google the word trust here.
No, I do
know
trust
that you
him.
want to trust him.
No, I'm saying I trusted him enough.
Also, if you
I
fall
jumped.
in the trust
like-
circle, I don't trust you anymore.
You're like, don't
don't
give
put
me
my arms together and fall back, and I hit the ground. You are no longer trusted.
You're like, don't get me
anymore.
wrong. I have trust in him. I just don't have faith he'll do what he needs to do when it needs to happen.
Make me bet right now, like, will Murray look good in the playoffs if the games matter? I think it's yes, but we cannot ignore the fact that all these years into his career, the bubble is the outlier. And the other games, this is an inconsistent player. So I have a hard time ascribing the word trust to an inconsistent
This
guy.
might be a really lonely circle of trust if we're already if guys are already out. All right, Paul Millsap, circle of trust.
Out
I trust him.
from 3.
I trust him. I mean, I just don't trust him to play a lot. But like when he's in, I'm not like worried about. I know we're gonna get some point production out of him. And it's not. He's not gonna be the reason that things go awry.
All right. You kind of talked me into that.
What do you think,
That's
Dev?
I think he's trusted for one half. It's just like, I'm here.
good. 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm going to give you guys everything I have for one half.
See, here's how I would interpret this. I don't trust him to elevate Denver's defense the way I have for the last 3 seasons.
Do you specifically not trust him though?
Yeah.
No, I just don't think he's capable of doing. Like, he has done a job for the Nuggets above all other jobs, and that was elevate them to this, like, protect the backside and do the stuff. And now I'm just like, sometimes he will, sometimes he won't. He just doesn't have it anymore. The offensive stuff I don't care about, because I think for 2 seasons now that's been the case with him, where it's like, hey, he's a 3-point shooter, and maybe every now and then he gets like a nice move. Like tonight he had that night he cooked. Who was it that he cooked in the post tonight? Royce O'Neal, I think.
Yeah.
Like every now and then he has one of those, but I don't trust that. It just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
The defense is the thing that he's out there for, and I'm like, sometimes.
And it used to matter when he was like worth $30 million a year and things
Right.
like that. Like now he's not worth that. So you're getting what you pay for.
Right, the opportunity
like,
cost here is
If you
like-
paid him more,
yeah.
he probably would try a little bit harder. You're paying him, and he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He doesn't even get to the free throw line anymore. Like
Right.
he's just there. He's like, I'm here to get
This
fined
one-
so I don't get fined.
This one's gonna be tough, and it might break
Oh,
the
boy.
comment section. Will Barton,
Oh boy.
He's out for me right now.
he's out the circle.
And I'm the Will Barton guy, but what I won't do is pretend he's playing well right now. He's
Yeah.
not. And defensively, and I still think it's fair to go, maybe he's not back in shape or not healthy, but he's still out there on the court, so we
Right,
got to critique
right.
the performance. Defensively, he's been even worse, I think. You know, we think about the missed layups, but I do not trust Will Barton right now, and I used to.
Comment section definitively out on
Well, that's a shocker. That's why they're gonna break it.
Yeah, I could have bet. any
Will
amount of
Barton,
money
is he
on
in the circle of trust for you?
I mean, circle of trust, right? Who are these people you trust? Like, would I trust Will Barton to manage my finances? No. Would I trust Will Barton to drop a dope line, to drop some bars? Absolutely. On a basketball court, absolutely not. No, he's out.
Wow.
it. One important addition to the circle of trust.
Okay.
Dev is in.
Dev is in the circle of trust.
I'm in the
Wow.
circle of trust.
First
Well,
off-
no. Let's not go too far.
You have to qualify it.
With that, I'm in the circle, and I am talking to Jokic because he's the only one that's in the circle right now.
It's just
And
you guys.
we're whispering to the outside.
Wait, we're
to
out of-
Jokic.
what's
We're
up,
outside?
man?
No, you guys are not in the circle.
What's up, man? What's up, man? That's such a cool circle.
I'm whispering to Will Barton, who is not in the circle, but he's telling us things that's happening in the outside world. So me and Jokic only, not you guys, are in the circle
Damn.
talking about things with Will Barton, who's out of the circle.
Sorry, 2 comments back to back. Barton has been one of the best clutch defenders in the league. Barton is the biggest garbage in the league, back to back.
Wow,
Just
yeah.
10
But
seconds after each
The
other.
fan experience is
It
really
makes
wild.
sense though. It makes sense. That is him. They probably
yeah.
saw like 2 different plays back.
It's actually, was it the same person that said that twice in a row?
Yeah, that's
All right. Well, then if Barton's out, Gary Harris, I assume, is he out of the circle of trust?
Oh man.
I'm starting with you, Dev.
Everybody knows I love Gary Harris. He shouldn't be by a circle. You got to go find some other circle.
He's like
He's not in our circle.
he's too close to the circle.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah, yeah.
actually, you're not only
I would
out,
say-
you're too close.
good rule of thumb. If when your shooting guard shoots a 3 and you close your eyes and cross your fingers,
Yeah,
it's probably
he doesn't
not
need to be in the circle. He's not a shooting guard, first of all. But he's not in the circle.
Man, this is
But
a real bummer.
I'm glad that he's back.
All right. Well, all right. So, all
segment,
right, we're all out so far. JaMychal Green. Hey, we might. Hold on. JaMychal Green.
In the circle.
He's in the circle. All right.
He's in our
Jokic's
circle.
circle.
He's in my circle.
Hey, 2 of 8 tonight. 2 of 8. 5 points, 6 rebounds, -4. But
I've always said this. I want JaMychal Green to be in my circle of trust for the rest of my life.
well done. So he in the circle for you?
Yeah, he's in my circle.
All right, he's
I
in
mean,
the
he had a bad
circle.
game. Everybody's okay. That's
is
his
true.
first bad game also. It's a bad game.
Isaiah Hartenstein?
I mean,
I think
I trust him to foul.
I think he fouled the circle. He was too close.
He might hurt
He
the
didn't have any
circle.
fouls tonight. He didn't have any fouls tonight.
Yeah, he was
It's only
only
3 minutes, but
All that said, I am very much in wait and see mode on Hartenstein.
Yeah.
but you don't trust him. Like,
But, yeah.
he's.
I don't
You'll
especially
give him a
not
chance, but
trust
you don't
him.
trust him.
Big
He
time.
is not in our like Tyson Chandler somewhere, right?
Oh,
He has to be
jeez.
out there somewhere.
Wow. Tyson Chandler.
Oh, dude.
All
How's the
right.
Nuggets
This
season
one's going to
going?
lose us a bunch of maybe 300-400 followers. Campazzo.
No comment.
No comment.
Catch and shoot from the corner. In
Yeah,
the
he did.
circle.
He does knock that one down. 1 of 1.
But probably not in the circle
He
yet.
had 5 fouls in 11 minutes today.
Yeah.
We want Campazzo to be in our circle.
We're trying, man.
He's not there yet, but
Yeah.
he wants to be in our circle, and we want him to be in our circle.
I know.
This was a bad game, and he's at 2 of them in a row.
Yeah, Campazzo,
Not
it's
in our
like
circle
we've
yet.
made like a little trail of Reese's Pieces leading right into our
It's his
circle.
ET, huh?
And he's eating one after the next. He hasn't quite made it in just yet. He's,
I feel like this is offensive, but I don't know.
oh, really?
I'm sure the internet will let us know.
I'm sure the internet will.
There's one way to
No,
find
it's
out.
not. It's
I
not.
thought it was adorable.
Campazzo just likes to eat. That's all
like-
I'm saying. That's-
Like
He
ET.
likes Reese's Pieces. You said ET.
No, but seriously about Campazzo here, I don't. Not that my trust matters, but I don't trust him. Like when he comes onto the court, I am concerned, and sometimes he is great. Like he has had really good games, he has turned games, but when he comes onto my court, onto the court, my default position is I hope they don't blow it. And tonight they blew it. Like tonight was one of those nights where it's there's no way to polish this thing. He was on the court for 11 minutes. They got kind of blown out in those 11 minutes.
And in those 11 minutes, Michael Conley actually attacked him.
Like, sought him out,
He
yeah.
really went after him and attacked him. And I think that hasn't been talked about a lot because that's when they went on their big
Right.
run. Mike Conley noticed that this guy was on there, and he did everything in his power
Yeah.
to go after him. They set screens on him. They went after him. Like, they went downhill and went after him.
we
Like,
getting some flame? Are we
wasn't
getting
in there.
flame there, Cal? Is this what's
So
happening?
we're just getting, a lot of people are saying Greg Williams.
Yeah, Greg.
Definitely.
Greg.
I mean, there's no reason he's out.
It's
right?
so true. I kind of.
Yeah, give me one reason why you don't trust Greg Whittington.
Because we
And
don't
that-
know if he exists.
Well, and you can't use just because we don't know that he exists. That's not a good reason. That's not a good reason to not
House
trust
rules.
somebody.
D-line made the circle, so Greg Williams.
Yeah.
All right.
The circle is just more Greg Whittington shaped.
By the way, some people saying Facu played poorly, but you wouldn't blame that loss on him. I mean, I agree. Like Monte wasn't very good tonight, and he's been awesome this season. So it's probably
Monte
a
had some
domino
big
effect.
shots, man. He had some tough shots.
Oh, for sure. I mean, look, I'm a huge Monte guy. I'm just saying, like 12-4 from Monte is getting closer to the baseline, and he didn't have it tonight. And I think there's a domino effect for that second unit.
Well, let's go to Monte. I'll go first. He's in my circle
Oh,
of trust. I
God,
trust
dude.
him. I trust him a ton.
Absolutely in the circle.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
call him with like he doesn't know me, and I would still call him for a personal favor and trust that he's
Yo,
up there.
what is the line we literally came up with? In Monte, we trust.
In
That's a
Monte, we
great point.
trust.
Eric.
It is
And
true.
you know what? In hindsight, is it shocking that the guy who literally set the mark for best assist to turnover ratio ever in college basketball is trustworthy? Probably
No,
not.
Not at all. Not at all. And then lastly, PJ Dozier. This one's a tough one.
This I think is a great way to frame the Dozier thing, because am I still in on PJ Dozier? Yes. Do I trust PJ Dozier? No.
I thought he was good tonight. And he was good in ways that are important to me. I think PJ Dozier's a great player. I think defensively, when he's on, the Nuggets have the best defensive rating of anybody on the team. He does so many things. My one thing, and I talk about it all the time, does he play within himself? And I thought tonight he did more than anyone else, although let it be known, there's little plays that I just feel like turn games. They turn them in both
Exactly.
ways. And there's like
Exactly.
there's like 10 of them per game that happen. And one of them was him taking that three from the corner in transition when he wasn't even necessarily that open. And that's not necessarily a green light I want him to have. Maybe the Nuggets are okay with it.
You know who
and,
would've been-
and it was a play that stuck in my head
Yeah,
because there was
man.
like 5 minutes left where I'm like, you can't just
You
punt
know
the
who would have been
possession
like
in
really
crunch time.
dope in that slot, in that exact space? It would be Michael Porter Jr. shooting that,
Well, hold on.
canning that three.
Hold that thought. PJ Dozier, though, is he in the circle of trust for you?
I trust him. I do trust him because he makes mistakes. I mean, it's like I don't. This is difficult to word here because I have trusted him, but I do also trust that he won't always make the right choice. But I trust in
So you don't trust him,
I
but
do
you
not.
will live with him playing. That's what you're trying to say here. Because that's
I
my
guess
point.
so. Like,
that's
I-
exactly
Yes,
it. is
that's
I
exactly
don't
how I
trust
feel.
him to do what I think
Yeah.
makes him great.
But
But
I
I-
want him out
But
there.
he does enough that he's good enough to
Yeah.
play. Yeah.
It's a very difficult little position I've taken on this, but it's
What about you, Dev?
We did not talk about PJ Dozier last game, and I think that he was amazing last game. It was the
Right,
first time
that's
we
a great
saw
point.
extra
That's a great
passes. It was the first time that he stepped into his role and didn't take unnecessary shots. This game, again, I think that he played really well.
Me too.
He didn't do anything, and then that shot came. And then it was like, okay, these are the things that we don't like him. He's clearly in Malone's trust circle because he played
Right.
27 minutes tonight.
Right.
And that was with getting Gary Harris back. So he clearly trusts him, but he didn't play great tonight. So I've always said it, just you can't play him long spurts. That makes it hard. He's great if you're a backup, but you can't play him long.
It might be worth it too to play him through this, right? And he learns these lessons. Maybe he does. And if you're looking for, all the people that are like, I really miss Torrey Craig right now. I think what you really want is PJ Dozier to work out because then he's your Craig that can actually put the ball on the floor and shoot a little.
I do like him, I think, more than Craig. I
Yeah,
really
definitely.
like PJ Dozier.
definitely.
But Craig played 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Good point.
yeah.
15,
point,
like if you put Dozier for 15 minutes of him just knowing his role, I think he looks great. When he's playing 27 minutes, you get to see the flaws.
I was so sure we were going to win this game, man. I just had.
Man.
I
Yeah.
did win all my bets tonight, though. Do we care about that?
Important question coming up in the comments, though.
Okay.
Michael Porter Jr. in the
That's what that was the last one. I was going to end with him. So Michael Porter, we'll get to it. He's been out for so long. I think this is an easy answer, but I'll want to hear if you guys think it's easy.
Oh,
Dev?
what a tease.
You go to me first after saying
After that, I know.
the answer.
There is
And then
a
if
right
I say
answer.
the wrong answer. It's like,
Yeah.
you there. I don't trust Michael Porter Jr. right now because he hasn't given us a reason right now. He's out for so many games a year. I mean, he's only been here for 2 years, but still, there's just
Don't
so
forget,
many.
One year he was out
missed
for the
his
whole
whole
year.
season.
Whole year. He's just not available. So
Then
you
one year
can't
he was
trust.
available, but wouldn't get
You
played.
can't trust a guy that like he has so many issues once he is playing. Yes, he can score, but he's not defending. He's not passing.
Yeah.
He's not, he's not making other people better. He's not available.
Oh,
he's
boy.
not in my circle. of
Ability
trust
is the
right now.
best of, or availability is the
He
best. ability.
is so far in my circle of trust.
Oh,
I know this is a
Wow.
hot take. 'cause
We're
I
all
tr-
just defining this differently. Is
Yeah,
really
that's
what
all
this
it
comes
is.
down
It's
to.
dumb, but
It's
I like
called
it.
like
I
an
like the
internet
graphic.
discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
good,
it's
good
called
show
it.
stuff.
just
I
had-
trust him to give you like 20 and 10 and shoot 40% from three, dude. I really do. I know there's the defense stuff. I know that I trust that he's really freaking good. And I think if he's been out there the last few games, I think the Nuggets win some of them. Easy to say right now.
Yo, he's in my circle. I put him in my fave five or whatever. Would you
No, wow.
put him on? I'll put him on speed dial.
Speed though.
Yeah, I trust Michael Porter Jr. because I do think that he has what it takes when the light are the brightest. I do think we'll see some more Mike moments out of him, like when we need them. I do think he'll make egregious defensive errors forever, his whole career. But I don't, I think that there are players that you live with that with because he ends up in an aggregate to be a positive.
Yeah, so the people in the comments already think I'm a Michael Porter hater, despite the
I know.
fact that I've called him.
It's so not true.
It's
Like,
so
as
not
your
true,
friend,
but whatever. I'll just lean
He's
No,
into
the
the
let's-
top
let's-
1% in on MPJ.
The timeline was you were accused of being a Michael Porter Jr. hater. You were like, all right, fine. I'm going to drop my definitive
Oh, that's so
Michael
true.
Porter Jr.
Oh,
defense
God.
pod. And then he's been
hasn't
out
played
every
since.
game
He's
since.
never played since. It really is true. I gave such an impassioned thing. But I'm going to say, and again, this is where we're talking about it's an internet conversation, because I'm going to say he's out of my circle of
What?
trust, but then reiterate everything that Vogt said. Like we agree, just we're disagreeing, I guess, on the way this game works. Because that's the thing about him. He's an incredible superstar in the making. But the problem with him is you can't trust him. Like that to me, that's what it is. You can't trust him to defend, and you can't trust him to like understand where the rhythm of the offense finds him and where he belongs into it. So to me, talking about trust, that is the question with him. It's not the talent. It's not the skill.
Do
It's
you know
not
what my
the
counter
upside.
argument is, though?
What's that?
Conveniently ignoring everything you just said.
Yeah, right? It's just
Leaning
being
into
like,
30
Oh,
and
I
10.
know. Like you kind of have
yeah,
to. Like,
Mike. Yeah.
That's where I'm at, Eric.
it does feel like the Nuggets
The
are.
comment earlier was MPJ out of the circle, but in the tower.
Oh, no.
Oh no, we should hit a break.
Oh,
but
the
Michael Porter,
tower.
man, like watching this Nuggets team without him, it really is like just they freaking need him, and they're gonna have to like maybe take this like dangerously terrifying dip to like get him there because they're below 500 now, and and they're getting ready to go on the road after they have one more cupcake. Every team's good, but Oklahoma City, they should win. They should get that one. Then you go on a really freaking tough road trip, man. One of the longest, I think the longest of the schedule, and things might get worse before they get better, but you might just have to just get through it, man. You might just have to get through it, weather that storm, and come out better.
This whole season is going to be the quest for 500. The whole.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, the
season.
whole thing. But all right, let's take a break. On the other side, though, we do have a nice, fun conversation. I'm excited for the conversation.
Finally.
MSU Denver Online. Now is the time to apply and register for classes. Spring semester starts January 19th. If you use code DNVR Sports, you do not have to pay an application fee. That's right. When applying, ask for the application fee. Drop the code DNVR Sports in there. It'll be completely free. Time and time again, the one thing you can count on that will protect you, against just an ever-changing environment, work environment, is having a degree, having a flexible work background. You can have it both ways. Make money and work while you're earning your degree. MSU students can tell you all about it. They work double the hours while taking classes. MSU Denver Online puts a dynamic education at your fingertips without forcing you to decide. That's never been more important, guys. Life doesn't have to go on hold. We know the world is still turning, no matter how weird it is. So don't put your education on the back burner. Check out MSU Denver Online. You don't even have to pay for that application fee. Let's talk about Strava Craft Coffee. It's my favorite read. Sorry to the other sponsors. They probably hate when I say that. But
It's almost like you shouldn't say it.
yeah, it's almost like Lindsay's going to text me in a few minutes. But I do love the CBD-infused Strava Craft Coffee. What does it mean? It's non-euphoric, but you might still notice some of these CBD effects.
Non-euphoric. That's like what I was going to say. It could be euphoric.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have it,
Non-psychoactive.
I'm like, oh, this is euphoric. That's exactly how I describe it.
All right, look, anyway, it's not going to get you stoned like that THC, but there are some effects. I mean, I've noticed it's really curbed my anxiety. It's really helped me with some joint pain. And what, Eric? IBS.
Honk.
Oh, that's right. Most importantly, it'll have you honking like a goose. Check out Strava Craft Coffee now. You can save 20% off a one-time order using code DNVR20, or every single order when you sign up using their subscription service. Choose your flavor, the dosage, when you get it, every 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks. Check out Strava Craft Coffee. It's the best way to get your CBD.
So I got a comment on Twitter for a Jazz fan that I like. He says, y'all, first of all, he starts with y'all.
Oh.
Y'all need to give some respect. Jazz fans know Jokic is better than Rudy. Good. But Rudy is really good. 2 exclamation points.
Okay.
Rudy's defense isn't about one-on-one. His defends the whole team. Think about the Murray block. And then he says Rudy +8, Jokic +6. Let me say something. I always say Rudy Golbert is extremely impactful. I in no way have to respect it more like him. I actually actively dislike Rudy Golbert. Everybody knows that, watches the show. Do I think he's good and impactful? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Supremely impactful.
Yeah, but what it really comes down to is who cares?
Who cares?
He
I
sucks.
don't like the fact that he can't dribble, chew gum, do any of these things. He just is very impactful despite that. And
All
I
that
don't
said,
like that.
like your guy, of course.
Like your guy, of course.
We just don't like your guy.
don't expect me
And
to.
also know for a fact
And my
that if your guy was our guy, you would say about him what we say about him when he's your guy.
That's a good point, Eric.
Because he sucks
That's what
in
I-
a lot of ways.
So we were
Take
talking
that
about
headache.
We were talking before the game where I was like, he's really good at things that I just think are kind of annoying, like screen assists. He's actually really good at them.
Amazing.
They're really impactful.
Yeah.
It's just who
Greatest.
gives a shit.
Remember,
David-
do you guys
David
remember
Locke's gonna call you.
that time in the game when Rudy Gobert airballed a free throw so badly that I don't think it hit the net?
And yet he's really impactful, and that sucks. It's like a cognitive dissonance. I wish it wasn't impactful, but it is. It is impactful. But anyway, moving on. Like Neil, shouts to Neil. Like your guy, man. I mean, honestly, like we're joking
Also, I
here.
hope
But you
that,
like your guy. I'm just teasing.
Also, enjoy that incredibly insulting accent that Adam gave your.
I just love y'all.
Hey, y'all.
I just love
Hey, y'all like a dirty dessert?
The funny thing is, like Utah and Colorado, same accent,
Same place.
Same place. That's really not but they
Y'all like
suck.
basketball?
I actually like the people from Utah too. They're
Yeah,
like
me
really
too.
nice.
The Jazz fans have been pretty good to me. Very respectful.
All right. One thing I did want to say in the last segment that I
Go
forgot, but
Bear
as somewhere where you were talking about, the effects of Strava, it made me reminded me of this for some reason, and that is that one of the things we've talked about with building around Jokic, how to build around him, was give him what would he look like with elite 3-point shooters, or you'd like it to be but maybe it'd be or what would he look like with elite defenders? They kind of have neither right now. It's just like, and it's kind of wild because we've talked about this. Like that Nuggets starting lineup is one of going into tonight was the single best 5-man offensive lineup in all of the NBA. And you think about it, like how they got 3 dudes that none of us
It's
have inside the circle
unbelievable.
of trust offensively, and it makes you wonder, like. at that point, if you can get 3 guys that we all consider to be below average offensively, if you can get 3 of those guys, but they happen to be elite defenders, can they still be the number 1 offensive 5-man lineup? More than ever, I'm starting to think the answer is yes. I'm starting to wonder if you just gave Jokic and Murray 3 of your best defenders you could possibly imagine, doesn't matter how flawed they are, Draymond Green, Robert Covington, and
Greg Weddington? Greg Weddington
Torrey
said-
Craig,
You're
and
still
it'd be
top
like, you know
5
what, let's
offense.
just, we're still an incredible offense.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know. So I just wanted to get
Torrey
that
Craig
one.
might
Well,
be the
especially
one. But-
consider again the grand, beautiful vision that we may or may not ever see, which is Jokic, MPJ, and Murray all cooking
Yeah.
offensively, and then you have like 2 stout defenders somehow.
That you just don't. You have 2 Robersons, right? Where it's like we don't even care.
Yeah.
Like if you don't shoot this, whatever, we'll make this.
Yeah,
work.
like we're actually going to dock you money if you shoot the ball.
You know what actually would kind of be funny, and it would fit the 3-pointers and defense. Like if you swapped Rudy Golbert and Jokic. If you put Jokic on the Jazz, they would have shooting and they would have a little bit of defense.
That
That would be insane.
That would be
I know. I try not to think about that. Though.
That would be insane.
Niang is a guy I love, man. We were talking about this before. He's like the best Wancho.
The brightest timeline Wancho.
Brightest timeline
Without the Adam
Wancho. He's
Sandler
like just
movie.
not every time he's open. It's the opposite of Gary, where I'm just like, oh, that's definitely in.
So true, dude.
Buckets.
true.
And he's always in the right spot. Like I'm a big fan.
But
of
you
his.
know what you're just saying, it does have me thinking. I remember when it was like, well, Jokic, center that can't really defend. Those guys are tough to build around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, he isn't. He's so easy to build around. You just
Yeah, I
gotta
know.
get the other guys right. Like, and you could do it 4 different ways.
You have this incredible offensive team, and none of the guys on the roster we trust to shoot an open 3, like a wide open one. It's kind of wild. All right, nonetheless, we're bashing on these guys a little hard tonight. I do want to relive some old glories because you guys know me. There's some things I like being upset about. One of them is the disrespect that Colorado gets from the coast.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Game
Really?
of
You're
Thrones.
never bringing that up.
I never bring it up, but I hate the coastal bias. And tonight, when the schedule came out, the number one thing I thought when the schedule came out was, how the hell did they not put Utah and Denver on national television? Because literally every time, well, not literally, almost every time these 2 teams match up, it's a classic, including tonight. And not only was it not on national television, they put it on the early evening Sunday night game going up against the NFL. This was a buried game.
I know.
This was the NFL being like, let's just
The
get rid
NBA.
of a game here.
I'm glad it wasn't on Nickelodeon.
I would have rather it been on Nickelodeon.
That actually would have been pretty dope.
And so
Jokic with slime all around him.
it really hammers home the point that the NBA doesn't, and it's really their media partners, not the NBA, but the NBA to me is complicit in that. They really don't market the basketball portion of the league very much. Like that's the thing.
They don't seem to be interested in that.
At all. At all.
But they
Like,
care only on certain days. And that's the thing. Like Christmas, Martin Luther King Day. Like they
Yeah,
like
but
try
even-
to do those
But
type of
on
things.
those days, they're like, oh, Martin Luther King Day, LeBron, the
Yeah.
Claw.
But they do
Yeah.
like the first game of the year. They like try to put something purposeful, and then they don't care after
Yeah.
that. They're just like, who's the guy to go after? Zion.
If you-
and then every single time.
if you told me, like, all right, you have to put a game together, 2 opponents against each other, gun to your head, and if that game doesn't finish within 5 points, you die. Like, my number one would be like, hey, Denver Jazz, Nuggets Jazz, that game's going down to the wire. I just
100%.
guarantee 100%. And, like, the fact that the NBA is like, we don't care.
They're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't have. Does either of them like have a trade demand? Are they dating a Kardashian or no? Like, all right, well, let's
Someone just said, to be fair, even the fan turnout was poor.
the fan turnout was awful tonight. So pull up the graphic here, Kayla, because we are going to now rank over the last year. The Nuggets and Jazz. Look at this beautiful best of 2020. This is last season. The 10 games last year. They played 10 games. We're going to rank them from worst to best.
All right, let's
From
see.
worst to best. The absolute worst game was among the worst games of my life. Like one of the worst moments of my life. You can go ahead and play it here. I don't know if you guys remember this one at all,
Game
but it was. You can go ahead and play it here, Kale, and we can. There you go. Game number 1 was Game 3 last year.
Worst
you guys
game of my
remember that?
life. Yeah.
Was that the one where we all questioned whether or not basketball was something we should follow anymore?
Yeah.
I've never felt more wrong.
I almost retired.
I've never felt more wrong than I did after Game 3. It
Yeah,
was among the lowest
yeah,
moments of my life. So let's move on quickly. We don't have to dwell on this. Second was Game 2, directly before that.
Was that the one that I started questioning whether or not
That
I
is-
should watch basketball ever again?
We're like, this is when the Nuggets, it was 1-1 after Game 2, and we're like, the Nuggets have been outplayed by all but like 4 minutes of this. But Murray just like went
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, oh my
So
God.
Games 3, all right, we'll throw those out. The rest of these are bangers.
Oh.
Well, check out this list. 10 games. All right, let's go back. Number 1, January 30th. You guys might not remember this one. Jamal Murray was out. Gary Harris was out. Paul Millsap was out. It wasn't quite the 7, which happened like a week later. All these dudes were out. Michael Porter Jr., January 30th. Remember, January was the month he was going off. So we got Michael Porter Jr. starting. He went for 12 and 12. The Nuggets, shorthanded, beat the Jazz. It was feel good vibes. And it came down to the wire. I think that was a 106-101 game. That was a great one. I don't know. Tell me in the comments if you remember this game, because I remember it very well. It was a great one.
I don't.
Yeah, well, it was the third worst.
Should I go into the comments?
It was the third worst Nuggets game, Nuggets Jazz game of last year, and it was awesome. All right, number 7. Number 7 is Game 4. So the Nuggets actually lost, and this one goes up because this was one of only 2 or 3 times ever 2 players have scored 50 points, wasn't it, in the same game? Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
It did feel like the Nuggets were going to lose to the series, so it loses some points for that. But that was an incredible battle.
Vic, you're trying to cheer. Well, you're supposed to cheer us up. What the hell?
We're reliving old glories. Vic. I mean, this is the thing. We're trying to go back in time.
Vic. We can talk about the game.
We can't talk about the present if we're trying to cheer ourselves up. We have to go into the past.
It's coming. It's coming. You got to get to 2 and 1.
But that Game 4 was honestly that was an all-time classic. Even though the Nuggets lost it. All right, they're all feel good from here on out. Let's go to number 6 on the board here. The seeding round. Do you guys remember this? Double OT in the seeding round. This was the one game. The Nuggets punted 9 games in the seeding round.
Then we won this one.
And it was this one.
Oh, right.
Double overtime. Jokic hits a game winner with like 2 seconds left. They're down. They inbound the ball. He hits a game winner. He was like fantastic in overtime.
You know what this game was primarily responsible for? Was for me declaring loudly on Twitter to anyone who would read or listen that we were going to sweep the Jazz.
I think the headline for our show that night was Rudy Golbert has no chance guarding Jokic or something
mentally,
like that.
They're I got on the radio. I'm like, the mental corner's turned. Yeah. This 5 games tops.
Double
and then
overtime.
Game 3 happened. We were like, wow.
Never felt so right. That's part of why this was the mountaintop of certainty we were better than the Jazz. All right, go to number 5. Look at how great these games are, guys. We got 5 more. Game 1.
That's right.
So,
that was a great game.
It was an okay game for the Nuggets because they really got outplayed.
Mitchell game, right?
Donovan Mitchell goes for 50.
Murray too.
But no, Murray goes for 36. But here's the crazy thing: 20 of those points came in the last 3 minutes of the regulation and 5 minutes of overtime. He just somehow caught fire. I think he had 10 points in 3 minutes and then 10 points in 5 minutes in OT.
Yeah, that was like, oh, right. Jamal Murray is like that guy when that guy needs to be.
There's also what you just said about this series. That was the right? Because they're up at half. You're like, they got this. And then they blow it, and then they come back, and you're like, oh, man, this is going to be 7 games, isn't it?
So to reiterate real quick before you move forward, January 30th, that's a 6-point game, goes down to the wire. It's basically free throws at the end. Game 4, same thing, goes down to the wire, basically free throws at the end. Seeding round, double OT. Game 1 goes to OT. All right, look at these games. They're all insanely close. All right, let's see what else we got. Game 4. That was Game 7.
Game 4
the fourth best game of this was the clinching Game 7 that literally
7.
came down to a buzzer beater that could have swung the series in either direction.
Wait, that's number 4?
That's number 4 because the game was
That
actually
has to be number 1.
Guys.
That was my whole heart left my chest.
Oh, you weren't watching with us, but we were talking about when the ball was stolen by Gary Harris. Jamal Murray runs it up the court, dishes off to a wide open Torrey Craig, who blows
semi-open.
a very wide open layup.
Semi-open.
And then Mike Conley is streaking down, and I was like, watching this unfold, I was like, the relativity of time, I was like checking my watch, just like waiting for my life to end. Yeah, it was like a 3-second period in time that took at least 5 years.
Watch all of Nuggets history in your head.
My
like,
whole,
this shot's going
and then
in.
when Conley shot the shot, like my entire life flashed before my eyes.
But the finish was great. Jokic coming up clutch in this game was incredible, and he was like the one guy. But if you remember, that game was disgusting.
Yeah, nobody could
score.
score.
What was it, 80 to 82?
80 to 78 or something
It's
like
80
that.
to 78,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
It was an ugly game, and it was a grinded out slugfest or whatever. But if you had to like sit and watch that game now knowing what happened, you'd be like, oh, wow, I forgot the second quarter was 6-3.
The fans are still throwing you out of the circle of trust for that one.
That's because they forgot all the rest of these. All right, let's go to number 3
Let's
here.
do it.
Oh, by the way, also comes down to the last second. Game 5. Game 5. Nuggets down 15 points.
Oh.
Down 15 points. They come back at this one behind some heroics from Jamal Murray once again. I think he has 40 points in this game. And if you want to talk about it, if I said gun to your head, you have to watch Game 7 or you have to watch this one in which they're down 15, but Murray just scores go back and watch the highlights from Jamal Murray in this game. He just hits like 12 shots in a row.
I like the
to
idea that
save
somebody
it.
comes to your house and puts a gun to your head, makes you
have
choose
to watch
one
this.
of 2 games to watch.
It's not
You're
that far off from my job. I
I
mean,
can't choose. There's a gun to my head.
kind of like
you
that
watch
job.
Saw or something. This is Jigsaw, for sure.
Look, I get your point, Adam. I think people would argue context, but
The payoff of Game 7, I think for sure was the best.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
just the payoff of it, the relief of it.
Johnny in the comments saying Game 7 at the DNVR.
Oh
bar.
man, Game 7. If we go back to Game 7 at the bar, like that was
I lost my mind.
I lost my mind. I honestly have only had a few out of body experiences, and the end of that, and part of it was because what you talked about when they when they got the rebound and started going. I died.
Yeah,
and then I was
because our souls had begun their ascension to heaven or hell, if it's talking to me, and they snapped right back into our bodies. And we wouldn't run.
But then they left again. It's like I died and then was taken to heaven. It was incredible. All right, let's go to number 2. Look at these games are incredible, and we're only on 2. God damn it! Oh, there only was the 7. I put the 7 up at number 2, and I know it was a regular season game. That's how freaking incredible this game was. We talk about how much I don't like Rudy Golbert and like not liking. I enjoy not liking him.
It does. It fills you with glee.
And how much I like Jokic and like rooting for him. There has never been a bigger ass whooping in the history of basketball than what Jokic did in that game.
This also goes back to what we were just saying about team building and who do you put around Jokic. It turns out it really doesn't matter at all.
And this is the point in case. Yeah, they had Murray, they had Jokic, and then they had a bunch of guys just filling in the gaps, including Vlatko Čančar. That game, man, I'll never forget it. You talk about a winner's lounge. The winner's lounge was born that night.
That's true. Were we still in Lakewood?
We were in Lakewood.
Lakewood office?
We'd been doing them.
For a bet, but like that was what cemented it as like
An event.
An event,
Because
yeah.
I think that game might have been, I don't remember if it was on national television or what, because I remember it being like midnight or 12:30, and we're doing a lounge, and it was just popping because everybody was
I
like,
think every game was at that time.
It was like 12 inches of snow on the ground.
we were just like living a dream. That game, I'll never forgive. You talk about all of these, some of these games, we might have to be like, even game 4, but okay, which one was that? Oh, that was this one. The 7, you'll always
Forever.
Don't even have to say anything else.
We've told this story before, but I just remember driving to the Lakewood office as though I was driving to a funeral. Like the Nuggets were short on players. They had 7.
Right.
It was the
Back-to-back.
second night of a back-to-back. It was against Utah. I think we'd lost a few days before, right? Or no?
No,
whatever.
beat 'em a
Oh, we
few
beat 'em.
games
Whatever
on.
the case was. I was like, what am I doing with my life and my time? Why am I driving to go talk about this game that's going to be an
Do
absolute
you know how many
disaster?
people were probably upset with the 7? Like that game because the Nuggets had just beat Utah, then they beat them with 7 guys. So when you get faced off against them in the bubble and
Yeah.
like in the playoffs, you're like, I'm betting everything. They're gonna get swept.
That was
you're
the
like me,
basis
you're
of
like
our
me.
take.
We're
Yeah.
like,
7
we're
guys.
going to sweep them. This is easy. Yeah. Baby
And now
food.
now you look like an idiot.
Yeah, I like
because
that.
they're winning games.
The 7 is one of my all-time favorite games. The fact that they had a 7-game series just happens to beat it. But number 1 for me, you guys could have guessed it. It was Game 6, and I know people are going to say Game 7 was the clincher, and it was. But I'll be honest, I thought they were going to win after Game 6. Like after they won that one, I was like, and Game 6 has Murray's 50 points. They have Murray making some of the best shots that you guys remember from that series. And then they also have, I think, the most inspiring and emotional speech post game.
That's the shot in the tunnel too, right? Or is that
And the shot in the tunnel also.
Yeah.
Like it was just such an like you talk about all the different things you like about sports coming together, the mystery, the resolve, the comeback, all these the ways
form.
that they can really point to other aspects beyond sports that in your life. It all came together in this moment that to me is better than Game 7. It was better than the 7. It was better than all of them. Game 6.
Game 6 was the moment for Jamal Murray. I think that's when he really put himself in he elevated himself. That's when he left every single thing out on the floor. And no matter what happened, like you had to respect what Jamal Murray represented and also what he was going through at the time. He put it all out on the line, and that was the moment for me. So I'm glad that you got it at Game 1.
So now if we go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so now we have to look at the best games played against the Jazz in 2021. We have this game.
It's the worst. The worst. No, but seriously, if we go back and say, okay, 11 times this teams have played now, if you go over the last 11, 9 of them have come down to the wire. Think about how insane that is. Absolutely insane. You got 2 centers that match up, 2 point guards that match, or combo guards that match up. I just love this matchup. Nuggets lost tonight. I'm bummed because I'm bummed about the Nuggets season, but you know what? I'm glad we got them. We can close with that, Kale, so we could start up the old music if we haven't already. But thanks for riding with us, guys. Vic says he wanted us to cheer him up. I feel cheered up a little.
We tried.
I feel a little bit more sad knowing that Vic needs us to cheer him up. I don't feel like we're up for this challenge, man.
Hey, the people that rolled us to the entire Losers Lounge is like, what more could we ask of you?
you're
We
our
appreciate
peoples.
you. Thank you so much. But I will ask more of you. If you don't mind and you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate
Looks
it.
like we got 2 haters.
Oh, no.
Down voters. Drown those people out.
We didn't give enough respect to Rudy
We didn't
Golbert.
put. We didn't.
You know what they're right about.
Either we didn't flame Rudy hard enough, or we flamed him too hard. We'll never know.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We're going to be back again tomorrow. Don't forget, this is also a podcast. And then also don't forget, so tomorrow I'll be doing a notebook pod. It won't be live on YouTube. So you're going to want to subscribe to the DNVR Nuggets podcast. You don't want to miss that. And then on Tuesday, George Karl, keeping it 1,000. Me and George Karl. Can't wait to hear what he has to say about the Nuggets over the last 2 weeks. You don't want to miss that either. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.